Well, hello guys, it is that time once again for another edition of Odds and Ends, where I read you some really weird news stories from all over the world, and hey, they don't call it Odds and Ends for a reason, you know? Now, to clear up some stuff from the last Odds and Ends when I was going Odds and Ends, I was trying to do a slow-mo thing for Odds and Ends though, but it didn't really work out with my editing software, so yeah, I apologize for that little weird dilemma type of ordeal. And I read some of the comments from my last edition of Odds and Ends, and surprisingly I only got 2 responses. One person liked the tripod, the other person liked it how I was doing before, so couldn't really decide, so I'm trying out something new, which is kind of a combination of both, because how I had it before was my tripod was completely extended and all that other ish, and then I realized that I was reading it like this and it looked kind of weird. And the way how I had it before on my laptop was my screen was slanted back and I had my camera at an angle so that way it wouldn't fall, and then it will also support it. But I did a test run with this before, and this is my tripod at like the level it is before you actually set it up and everything, so it's the smallest I can get it, and the camera's kind of at a weird angle, but I'm thinking this actually might work. But so tell me what you guys think. If you like this, let me know in the treasure box down below, and tell me if you like it like this, or if you think I should go back to whichever way you guys prefer to my last Odds and Ends though. But so this is really late, and I'm very sorry about this though, but you know me being a working man, and you know, things come up and stuff like this and stuff like that, and busy schedule coming up in the next few weeks, so I may not be able to do Odds and Ends until then though, but just to give you guys a fair warning, so you guys know why if I'm not going to be doing Odds and Ends really soon. It's because I'm going to have a busy weekend for like the next couple of weeks, so so yeah, I'll try to do them whenever I can, and there's going to be vlogs for the next couple of weeks. Very exciting, kind of like what I've been doing with all the collaboration stuff, like with the ACE convention and Anime Land. I got another one coming up in about a week or so. So it's going to be very exciting because, well, I don't want to really spoil it. I just want to keep the moment really all tensed and whatnot. So come the day of the event, then you guys will see what I was talking about though. So enough about me blabbering on, and enough about me just talking gibberish and whatnot. So I know you guys are really anxious to read this, and as much as I am, so let's get going. Our first story comes out of the America Samoa. I know I've never heard of that place though, and I'm sure you guys haven't, so you can Google that if you like. Go ahead, be my guest. I'll wait. Okay, I think that's long enough. So anyway, American Samoa. 2 police officers at a territorial correctional facility appeared in court earlier this month on charges they permitted inmates to go on beer runs. Samoa News reports officers Fiti, F-I-T-I, Ania, A-I-N-A, and Rocky Tua, T-U-A, are accused of aiding the escape of a prisoner, permitting escape, and sorry, I just lost my spot. Okay, and public servant ascending to corruption, following a surprise inspection to the Tafuna Correctional Facility. During the visit on July 20th, investigators found alcoholic beverages in one of the cells. Court documents say an inmate told investigators he was sent on unsupervised visits to a nearby convenience store to purchase beer for fellow inmates and snacks for Ania and Tua. The officers are each being held on $15,000 bonds. Okay, you can do it yourself as long as you're not on the job and you don't have inmates doing it for you. If you have inmates doing it for you, they're going to find out, they're going to point fingers, you're going to get the ones who are going to get in trouble. Should have thought that through, but obviously not, and you end up in Odds and Ends. Way to go, guys. Way to go. Our next story comes out of Florida, where a 22-year-old inmate in the Palm Beach jail is suing the Palm Beach County Sheriff in federal court, alleging that his rights are being violated due to the lack of dental floss. Jail inmate Joel Flores, who clearly has some time on his hands, says the lack of dental floss in Sheriff Rick Bradshaw's jail is causing him, quote, oral abscess, pain, discomfort, tooth decay, loss, in parentheses, and could contribute to endocarditis. I think that's how you pronounce it. Endocarditis is an inflammation of the inner lining of the heart chambers and heart valves. Quote, Palm Beach County Jail Administration does not provide dental floss to inmates through the property or the commissary, making it completely impossible to obtain and use as directed by the American Dental Association, Flores said in his handwritten complaint. He wants the jail to provide dental floss to all inmates and is asking for, quote, monetary compensation for my pain and suffering and emotional distress, as well as future required dental care. Flores was booked into the jail in July on robbery charges. Wow. One inmate is actually complaining about dental floss. So, let's think about this. If you use dental floss, you give it to an inmate, and they are acting out violently, and they could use that as a weapon, such as strangulation, they could escape, and who's to blame? You, the court system, the county, and the American Dental Association. Why? Because you gave them floss. So, it's a stalemate, basically. You give them dental floss, they'll have better hygiene, but on the other hand, if you give them floss, they could use it as a weapon. So it could go either way. It's really, like I said, it's at a stalemate. So who knows what would happen? But I guess I'll just have to wait and see what happens. Right? Right. Our next story comes out of Virginia, where according to the Virginia Pilot newspaper, a Chesapeake man ended up in jail after a car dealership decided he got too good a deal on his SUV. After 40-year-old Danny Sawyer purchased a Chevy Traverse and drove off the lot with it, bosses at Priority Chevrolet decided the customer paid $5,600 less for the vehicle than they thought he should have. Rather than yelling at the dealer who sold the vehicle, Priority Chevrolet tried to get the customer to sign a new contract for more money. When Sawyer refused, the dealership reported the vehicle stolen and had him arrested. After 4 hours in the Chesapeake jail, Sawyer was released on bond. Commonwealth attorney Nancy Parr told the Virginia Pilot her office would not be pressing charges against the car buyer. Dennis Elmer, who manages the Chevrolet dealership, admitted that one of his employees did report the vehicle stolen. Elmer told the newspaper, quote, it is my plan to let him, whatever the hell that's called, Sawyer, keep the $5,600. I can't tell you how I plan to fix it, but it is in my intention to make it right. Sawyer has already filed 2 lawsuits accusing the dealership of malicious prosecution, slander, defamation, and abuse of process. He's asking for $2.2 million in damages and attorney fees. Okay, so this dealership accuses you of stealing all because you didn't sign a piece of paper that says give us $5,600 more for what the car is not actually worth. That's a scam. Obviously, you should have known that it was a scam to begin with. And then they're just going to say, oh, okay, you won't pay us $5,600? We're going to report you for stealing a vehicle, blah, blah, blah. Guys are stupid. When did contracts ever say, okay, this is the price of the car, say like $49.95 is the price of a car. And then it's like, okay, I'll sign on the dotted line, and then he's like, oh yeah, by the way, here's a new contract, pay us an extra $5,000 more. Where does that come in? When does that happen? That's a scam, obviously. They're just trying to get more money out of you. And who knows what they're going to be doing with that kind of money anyway, so. And suing him for $2.2 million, that's not going to fly. You're probably going to get less than half of what they're actually going to give you for what the charges are, basically, for if it comes to shove, basically. So yeah, let's That's a first. I've never actually heard of anything like that happening though, but if more and more dealerships start doing this, then obviously something's wrong with America. Moving on, our final story comes out of Ohio. In recent years, law enforcement has been somewhat overzealous in finding and destroying, quote, suspicious packages. Officials in Akron could be forgiving for their concern, however, when a 4-foot aluminum pipe wrapped in duct tape with the word, quote, kaboom, written across it was found on the 3rd floor of City Hall. The Summit County Bomb Squad, Akron fire crews, and a canine unit from the University of Akron all coverage on the scary stick once the building was evacuated. In the end, however, quote, kaboom turned out not to a threat, but a personalization. The pipe wasn't actually a bomb. It was a walking stick left behind by a man whose full legal name is Natural Hakuna Kaboom. Quote, he basically told officers he left the pipe there, used it as his walking stick, left it at City Council when he was at a council meeting Monday night, and he forgot about it. Lieutenant Rick Edwards of the Akron Police told Fox 8 News. The Akron Beacon Journal describes the 66-year-old Mr. Kaboom as, quote, a regular attendee at City Council meetings. In 2009, profiles in the Falls News Press, Kaboom calls himself a street minister to the, quote, blind, crippled, and mentally ill. He also claims his usual moniker was a shortened version of his Polish family name, Kaboomski. Wow. All that because of a name. Well, I mean, the police really have to take things seriously based on instant reactions. I mean, if you see a stick with kaboom on it, obviously you're going to freak out and they're going to call the bomb squad and say, okay, this could be a bomb. So, I mean, it's not his fault because there's kaboom written on it, and yet it's also the police who have to, you know, take their job seriously when it comes to stuff like this. So, it's just really weird. But the guy's name is Kablumski. That actually sounds pretty snazzy, but it's Polish. And his name, very, very unique, to be quite honest. So it's not often you hear a name like that, though. But so anyways, guys, that is it for this edition of Odds and Ends. And I really hope you guys enjoy listening to those stories as much as I like reading them to you. And we will see you whenever for the next edition of these crazy news stories that I like to bring to you guys every week. And until next time, take it easy, and we'll see you guys later.